Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a mid-year book freakout tag. I do this every year, at least for the past couple of years. I think it's just a fun time to reflect back on the books that I have read so far this year, chat about them a little bit, what my favorites are, have any disappointments, things like that, and then a bit less to talk about at the end of the year. Now I know that I have missed a couple uploads over the past couple weeks. I just needed to take a break, regroup. I was kind of going through it, but back, excited to film some more videos. I also have the window open. I hope it's not too distracting, but it's just such a beautiful day. And I figured we could just chit chat about some books together. Starting out with a couple stats so far. So far this year, as I'm filming this, it is June 17th. I have read 72 of the 120 books that I made my reading goal this year. We're doing excellent. We are more than halfway through to my goal. For me, the goal, I wanted to add a bit more of a challenge, but I have been reading. Did I hit 150 last year? I don't think I quite hit 150 books last year from what I remember. But anyway, I never want my goal to be something too ridiculous and make it just like a numbers game. My goal for me is just fun, and so I wanted to make it a little bit more challenging, but I feel like I will always keep my goal around 100, 120. So I also pulled some stats from Fable, which I will put up on the screen. I do not have Fable Plus, so these are very minimal stats. For my genre breakdown, see, I think they categorize books in multiple categories because this definitely doesn't equal 72. I have read 48 books this year that involve romance, 17 books that involves fantasy, 17 books that are categorized as young adult, 8 books that are sci-fi books, and 7 books that have LGBTQ plus rep. So definitely not the most range. Clearly I love a little romance in my books. Hopefully I can diversify that a bit more this year, but it's, I think, gonna stay about the same. And my average rating so far this year is 3.6 stars. I feel like this is pretty average. Most of the books that you're going to read in your lifetime are going to be around 3.5 stars, which is definitely not a bad rating. For me, it's definitely a fun book. Had a good time, not gonna stick with me. It was what it was. I would like that to be a little bit higher, but I don't know. I keep just reading books that are just okay. But anyway, that's the stats. Let's jump into the questions. There are 13 questions. If you do want to participate and answer any of these questions, I'll have all of them linked in the description. So feel free to chat in the comments. I would love to see your responses. But question number 1 is the best book that you've read so far. Looking through all the books that I've read so far this year, I think I have to go with The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I just really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really well done, and it really got an emotional response from me, so I feel like that has to be the best. Yeah, I just felt really connected to these characters. I was terrified to see what was going to happen to them, especially knowing some of the larger events part of World War II. Yeah, just devastation. But I'm really glad that I did finally pick this up, and I do definitely want to read more Kristen Hanna at some point, hopefully sooner than later. I just think she wrote it really well, and the characters felt like very real people. Question number 2 is the best sequel that you've read so far this year, and I have to go with the book that I just finished a couple days ago, which is Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Just the messaging in this book, I don't want to talk too much about it, but the relationships play a much larger role. I felt much more connected to the characters. I felt like I understood them a lot better finally and understood what was going on. And so I think, yeah, it was probably just the best sequel that I read. A lot of the sequels that I read this year were romances or like the Shadow Me series. I also read Brimstone, which were all good. Brimstone loved, but I don't know, something about Morningstar just, I feel like will really stick with me. I thought it was really well done. Question number 3, a new release that you haven't read yet but want to. I put Ballad of Fallen Dragons by Sarah A. Parker on this list. This is book 2 to When the Moon Hatched. I'm hoping to do a reread of When the Moon Hatched on audio here soon before I read the sequel. I enjoyed the first book, but it just wasn't what I expected it to be, so I'm hoping that I have a bigger appreciation for it upon reread. And I have heard people say that it's like the best sequel, or they're really pleased with the way that Sarah A. Parker took this one. And so yeah, I'm just really curious about it. I don't know, it's very weird. Like, I always wanted to read the sequel when it came out, but I wasn't as emotionally invested to book 1 as I feel like a lot of people that I follow were. And so I don't know, the hype really got me. I was really excited for when this one came out. Question number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I feel like I have to say the ACOTAR books with this one, which I guess the second release is in 2027, but I feel like that's my most anticipated release. I know that there's a couple books all coming out around the same time. So the next ACOTAR book, I also put the next Spark of the Everflame book on here. I'm curious to see how this is going to end. This is definitely not my favorite series, but I am excited that the last book is coming out. But with ACOTAR, like, it's not anticipated in the way that some of my other anticipated releases have been, because it's been so long. It seemed like there was this big buildup of anticipation, and then she went on the podcast and was talking about everything, and it was this big deal, and then it's been radio silence ever since. It comes out in October, and we still don't have a title, we still don't have a cover, we still don't have a blurb. Can we have something? Like, I feel it's too close to not have anything else yet. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. Hesitantly optimistic. Trying to not read anything about it, any like theories or anything, just really trying to go in with no expectations. Question number 5 is your biggest disappointment. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. I was really excited for this book. Based on the characters, who it was following, kind of the plot, I thought it was going to be really interesting, and it had me in the first half. I was having a giggly good time, laughing, giggling, and kicking my feet, loved the banter. And then about halfway through, I just really lost all interest. But I think I did actually finish this at the very beginning of June as well. So another spoiler to this month's wrap up. But yeah, it lost the plot for me. I didn't think the TV show element was going to be dragged out, and wasn't really handled in the way that I expected it was going to be. And so it just wasn't fun anymore. Question number 6, your biggest surprise. For this, I have to put Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I did not get along super well with her Part of Your World series. I just really didn't like any of the characters, really hated the women in particular. And so I was really hesitant going into this book. And of course, I absolutely loved it, considering the general consensus is that most people didn't love this one. I just felt like it was a very realistic representation of people and life and long distance relationships. Could there have been some changes? Yes, but I think it also shows like how flawed people are. I don't know. I really liked this one. I thought it was done really well, and I just really got along with it. Maybe I read it at the perfect time. I don't know, but definitely caught me by surprise. I did not think that I was gonna rate this book by Abby Jimenez 4.5 stars. Question number 7 is your favorite new author, either debut or new to you. And I have to pick 2 for this one, or I guess 3, but one's an author duo. And the first one being Abby Millsaps, who wrote Almost Ravaged. I have yet to continue the series, but I was just having the best time with this dark college romance. Just the best time. Cannot wait to continue this. Just the best time. And then immediately following that book, I read Blood and Betrayals by Jeanette Rose and Alexis Brune, and continued to have the best time. This was like a fantasy college dark book. And there was just something about the way that these books are written. I felt like I was back in college. I was having these experiences. I was in the story. I love the characters. I love the friendships and the relationships. I had the best time. And I'm chomping at the bit for book 2 in both of these. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush. I really don't have fictional crushes in the way that I feel like people on the internet do. I have male main characters that I like more than others, but nothing too crazy. And there was no one that really stood out to me, except I guess I'll put George from Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune on here. I absolutely love that book. The longing, even just the friendship in this book was everything. And you can just tell how much George cares about our female main character. And yeah, I couldn't pick anybody else. Question number 9 is your newest favorite character. I picked Summer from Blood and Betrayals. I just loved her. She is my girl. Question number 10, a book that made you cry. The only choice is The Nightingale. I think I teared up at a couple other books quite randomly, but this one I was like fully sobbing. This is the book that made me cry. Question number 11, a book that made you happy. I decided to go with The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. This took me by surprise again. I just had the best time with this. This is one of their older releases, I think. Oh, I guess not. This was in 2024. So definitely with some of their other popular books of the era, but typically I find some of their older books better. But anyway, I had a great time with this. I love the concept. It was just so funny. Again, it was based on like a TV dating show. I just had the best time with this. This was TV dating show done well. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book that you've purchased so far this year or received. And I have to go with Unbound by Peyton Corinne. I absolutely love this cover, but I think this is also like the only book I've purchased this year, I think. So I have to go with this one for that reason, but I just love her new covers. They're beautiful. I am a little annoyed that I have the original covers of the first 2 books, and the last 2 books in the series are going to be these beautiful covers, but it is what it is. This book also was like heart-wrenchingly devastating and beautiful. The love in this book, so good. And the last question number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I feel like there are so many books, but the ones that come to mind the most are the rest of the Red Rising series. I really want to finish this series out, especially before I read some of the other series that I'm kind of sitting on the holds at my library. Especially after Morningstar, I need to know how the story continues. This involves a bit of a space war and definitely a lot of political drama and conflict, and so I need to see it resolved. But that is everything for this week's video. Those are all the questions. Like I mentioned before, if you would like to answer any of them, please do in the comments. I would love to chat with you. And if you'd like to find me on other corners of the internet or talk spoilers for any of your responses for these questions, all of my links are also linked down below. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.